Hello, good people. How y'all doing? That's good. I'm doing good too. Hope all is well. Today, I want to talk about something that came on my mind. I titled it, Don't Get Over It, Get Through It. Don't get over it, get through it. Today, my dear precious nephew is laying his dear precious great grandmother to rest today. And it reminded me of this particular person who was doing a so-called sermon a while ago. And this particular person who was doing the so-called sermon, I believe the gospel is good news. And if it's not good news, I don't call it preaching the gospel. I call it just sitting up there talking, aggravating folks. Most people get bad news, unfortunately, Monday through Saturday. So when they come to church on Sunday, they want to come hear the gospel, the good news. If you don't have any good news to offer them, then don't say nothing at all. It's best to be quiet and thoughtful than to open up your mouth and erase all doubt. Anyway, the ignorance from the pulpit I heard from this particular person. I do not know this person personally. It was on YouTube, but you can use your Googleizations and find this particular sermon if you would like to. But he said somebody passed away and they were still grieving over it. And his response was, get over it. I found that to be highly insensitive. There's nothing wrong with being saved and sensitive. There's nothing wrong with being saved and nice. Saved and nasty don't go together. You're going to be one or the other, in my humble opinion. But you don't get over things. You get through things. I have experienced two tremendous losses. My first was my spouse, who I lost my spouse through a diagnosis that was given to her. But I am sure I will find her again. I lost my daughter, Winter Rosemary. I am sure I will find her again. I am not trying to get over it. It's not a day that goes by that I don't think about them. I have never even thought or conceived getting over my grief. There are different stages of grief. They don't all come as the same stage that you might take during your grief process, and that might not last as long or as short as someone else's grief process. And who's to tell me that I can never stop breathing? And who's to tell you that you should never start breathing? One thing that might be healthy for me might not be healthy for you. I am not trying to get over my grieving process. I'm in the process of getting through it. And for the rest of my life, I will get through it until I transition to a place where I will find my spouse and my daughter again. To tell someone to get over something, in my opinion, it's like telling them to walk over a rock, a brick. You walk over something, it's still there. So you want me to get over, walk over, run over this grieving process, but the grief is still there. In my personal opinion, I would rather get through something than over something. Because if I get through that brick, if I run through that brick, if I take my time to get through that grief, guess what? It's no longer still there. That's if I choose for it to not to be there. It's healthy for me to continue to grow through my grieving process. I'm sorry, we have adopted a homeless dog. That is her way of saying amen. Okay, God bless her. Okay, Bless the Lord at all times. Bless the Lord at all times. Bless the Lord at all times. I believe it starts with that. Don't get over it, get through it. Getting through any situation is so much more easier if we bless the Lord at all times. We bless the Lord at all times by remembering, hey, I have so much more to be grateful for. Yes, I may have suffered a great loss, whether it be through a loved one, finances, a home. You can lose people who are still breathing, but lose them due to your health. It's some type of people with some type of energy that I choose not to associate with, because I'm getting through the process of me living a healthier lifestyle. But I can do that by blessing the Lord at all times, no matter what I'm going through. Not what I'm trying to get over, no matter what I'm going through. If I continue to bless the Lord at all times while I'm going through this process, it'll make it so much more easier. And I believe in great things, great things, great things. I keep saying great things because I can't remember the words to the song, but my sister sing the song. It's one of my favorite songs. Great. Expecting great things. Expecting great things. Y'all got to come to church to hear that song. It's a good song. Trying to get over something I don't believe will give me the great things that I'm trying to expect. Because like I said, once you get over it, it's still there. But going through depression, going through loneliness. Now you can be alone, but not feel lonely. You can. Okay, thank you, amen. Cool. Keep getting this praise on. You can be in a crowd and still feel lonely. You can be by yourself and not, you can be alone but not lonely, because you were thinking about the great things that you have, that you had, and that you're going to grow through, that you're going to go through, and that you're going to get through. Okay? So instead of trying to get over great things, get through these great things. It's like a obstacle course. Once you get over the first great wall, then you go up under the great tires, and then you climb up these rock climbing great walls, and you keep going. And while you're going through that obstacle course, when you come out at the end and you have accomplished this great thing, then you get the award of being employed. Now, I have personally seen some people like, I just want to get this over with. I just want to get this over with. I just want to get over this over with. And they never get over it. Bless their heart. It's a privilege to know how to get through things. It is a privilege to know how to get through things. It is a privilege to know how to get through things. Some people do not know how to get through things, and guess what? They end up stuck where they're at. And the longer they're stuck where they're at, it'll be more difficult for them to get through what they're trying to get unstuck from. You can be stuck to a bad relationship, and you know this Negro or this Negro-esque, whatever the female pronoun for Negro is, you know they're no good for you. But you get stuck and comfortable in this situation, which prevents you from getting through it. But if you have the privilege to know how to get through it, it'll make it easier for you. But knowing and doing are two different things. You can know that this is not good for me. I can know that eating this thing is not good for me, and say I want to get through high blood pressure. I want to get through whatever diagnosis they've tried to say that I have. I can know what I need to do to get through it, and that's a privilege. But if I don't do what I am privileged to know to do, I will never get through it. I am also a gifted individual. Yes, I'm a gifted individual. I'm a gifted individual. I am grateful for being a gifted individual. And because I'm a gifted individual, it will help me to get through things. Because I have the gift of having the privilege to know, and not only know, but to execute the going through. We have to execute the going through in order to get through the going through, to grow through the going through. Okay? You know what? Peter got through jail. Peter got through jail. Isn't that amazing? He wasn't trying to get over while he was in jail. He wasn't trying to get over the guards or bribe the guards or bribe the other cellmates. He got through jail. And you know how he got through jail? Because it was a privilege for him to know who God is and who can help him get through this. He was gifted in knowing what to do and how to execute what to do to get through the jail that they so-called put him. See, the people who put him in jail thought they were putting him in jail. Peter knew this ain't jail. This is just a holding cell. This is just something y'all trying to use to restrain me with. But this jail has no power, no more power. It's not more powerful than the person who's going to get me through this jail and out of this jail. And guess what? It's a privilege to know God, because God got him through and out of a situation without him having to do anything that will cause the U.S. Marshals to go after him for breaking out of jail. Peter didn't break out of nothing. He walked out of what they tried to lock him into. Isn't that something? The angels came and rescued Peter. If the angels can come and rescue Peter, they can come and rescue me too, and you too. In order to know the angels and get the angels to work on your behalf, you have to listen to the angels. Listen to God. You know, a lot of times when people pray, they do all the talking. And stop screaming. God is not deaf. I don't know why people scream and holler at God. When I pray, I have a conversation with God. Be like, yo, God, what's up? How you doing today? God is always well. So if God is always well, I'm always well. That's just all to it. God is healthy, wealthy, and whole. Frida is healthy, wealthy, and whole. God is prosperous in every area of his life. I am prosperous in every area of my life. I don't have to scream that to God. Just like I'm talking to you, I talk to God. Okay? I don't need to heap and holler to get God's attention. I already have God's attention. The people who are screaming and hollering don't realize that they have God's attention. And you know why? Because they go through the day, every day, without giving God their attention. Just praying, you can't make prayer a monologue. Prayer is a dialogue, which is a conversation between two people. You say what you have to say, I say what I have to say, then I'll listen to what God has to say. That is the proper way, in my opinion, to communicate with God, which I believe, which is the definition of prayer. If I'm doing all the hollering and screaming, good night gracious. And most of my prayers are private. I like private prayers. Sometimes I go on a prayer line, a group prayer, to pray with other people. It's nice, it's wonderful and everything. But some of these saved, stupid people getting on my nerves. I was about to say I have to mute my phone, but you mute your phone anyway. But I have to mute my ears from all the hollering and screaming. That's traumatizing to me. I have some diagnosis that causes me not to hear anyone screaming and hollering. Okay? I worked 13 years and I was getting paid to hear people screaming and hollering. Now I'm no longer getting paid to hear people screaming and hollering. I wish, and I've made a decision not to hear people here screaming and hollering. God is not deaf. God has never been deaf. God has experienced death because God has experienced everything every man on this earth has experienced. But you know what's so good about God? Everything he has experienced, he has been able to go through. Everything I have experienced, because I have privilege of knowing the go through who is God, then I have the privilege to get through what I need to grow through by being in contact with the grow and the going through. God is the going through. Hope that came out how I meant it. You know what? A minor setback is nothing but a setup for a major comeback. A minor setback is nothing but a setup for a major comeback. Now, what made me think about this? I like football. I watch the NFL football. I watch football. I lost a bet against Brother Smith Matt, so I had to buy him some Pepsi. So I lost one bet because I said the Falcons are going to beat the champions, which are the Chiefs. I don't care who you may think you are, because somebody might have given you a champion ring, a champion trophy, and told you you were the champions. If I say the Falcons are going to win, they are going to win because I've said so. Apparently, the Falcons didn't get that notification that I told them that they were going to win. So the Falcons lost the game. They lost the game, but they still won. Okay, you know how I know they won? Because Frida said they've won. So anyway, a setback is a major come up for a minor setback is a come up for a major comeback. But got me on the Bills player. Please forgive me because I forgot his name. It's this Bills player. Bless his heart. He had happened to fall out on the field. This was last season, NFL last season. He had happened to fall out on the field. His heart actually stopped. His heart stopped, and he had to go to the hospital. The Bills was playing the Bengals, so I believe they was in Cincinnati. They was playing the Bengals, and so he went to the hospital. And when he went to the hospital, and when he got healed and realized that he can start his heart back up again, once he realized that, he survived this and went right back to the Bills training thing. And they thought, this like, are you going to sit out this season? Are you going to come back next season? And he was like, yeah, I'm coming back. He got through it. He didn't just get over it. If he would have just got over his heart being stopped, then he would have just gave up on everything and said, okay, I got over this. Maybe I don't need to play football no more. But instead of him just getting over it, he said, I'm going to go through this because I am greater than a heart that has stopped that is within me. Because I have the power to restart a heart that has stopped without my permission. So now I can get through this. So he had a minor setback, which was his heart stopping. Your heart stopping is a minor setback. Some people, when their heart stop, they have heart attacks and panic attacks, and they see a minor thing as a major thing. They say, hey, this heart is a vital organ. I need this to live. You only need God to live. Once you realize that, your heart will start back. Okay? And you will get through this so-called heart attack that these people on earth have set up to make us think that will kill us. But no, I know a man who they tried to kill, and he got up again and is still living to this day. He has a birth certificate, a death certificate, and a rebirth certificate. Isn't that wonderful? You know, you need, if you get over something, like I was over, I'm not gonna say that, but say for example, like I got over a relationship. Now some people say, oh, I need closure, I need to go back. No, once the relationship has ended, the closure has ended. I don't need to go back for no closure, no nothing like that. It's done, it's over with. I have literally got over it. I am through it, or in the process of getting through it. Depends on the love level I've had with this relationship. Goodbye, good riddance. I wish you the best. I wish you I have never wished any harm on anybody I've ever dated or was married to. I was married to my baby daddy. Yes, my baby daddy became my husband, and he blessed me with two out of three of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I can't remember not one bad thing I have ever said about my baby daddy to my children. Not one bad thing. I'm not saying he hasn't done anything bad that I might have perceived as bad. He is a good man, a great man. I have no desire to ever marry him again, but he is a great man, and I wish him all the success, wealth and happiness and prosperity in his life. I don't understand these people who have a child with someone and end up hating them. And then you see on TV, they end up killing the person who helped them get the child that they have. And now how are you going to explain to the child that the person that helped made you, I have now caused them to have transitioned unwillingly. I have unwillingly allowed someone with malice intent. And now I'm sure y'all was enjoying yourself when you was in the process of making this precious child. I'm sure you enjoyed every minute, every second of it. If you didn't enjoy it, then something might be going wrong. And for those who happen to have a child forcibly, because some people don't believe in abortion, and they might have conceived the child through SA, which is unfortunate. I believe every woman has the right to choose what to do with their body, but can you imagine raising a child? That would take some serious going through, because you would have to go through this. Me personally, I don't think I would try my best not to blame the child. Or there's also adoption. There's other things you can do. Abortion is also an option. That's a personal choice. But imagine getting through this now. From my experience through my previous employer, I thought this situation was so sad. This woman, I remember, called the police. We arrived. I was the sergeant at the time, so it was one of my officers, but I arrived to assist. And she said in front of her child, who was a teenage boy, she said, I don't want him. I conceived him by rape. You can't say rape on him. I conceived him by SA, and I don't want this child. I've dealt with him for as long as I could, and I literally, my tears was water. I couldn't believe she said that in front of him. Now, he knew all his life he was conceived through rape, because that's what his mom has been telling him all through his life. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. I'm not trying to victim blame. But I took the mother to the side and I said, ma'am, I think that's the worst thing you could ever tell a child. No matter how you feel. If you don't want the child, there's means. Georgia just happened to be one of those states you can drop a child off at any fire department, police department, no questions asked. Or you can tell a relative, hey, can you come get your nephew? I believe you'll be able to take care of him better than I can, because I don't have the mental or physical capacity to do it right now. As far as I know, DFACS got involved. I don't know where that child is to today, but I promise you, if I had the means right then and there to take that child and offer him a better way of living, everything in me would have done so, because that was the most horrific situation. No, it wasn't. I've experienced other horrific situations with children in my former occupation. But I took her to the side and told her, I said, ma'am, are you a victim are you a product of a rape? She said, no. I said, imagine if you found out, if your mom or dad came to you or a relative told you that, hey, you was conceived through rape, and your mom decided to not ever let you know this because they didn't want to hurt you. How would you feel? when you became a teenager and your mom told you, hey, I don't want you no more. You was a product of rape. Get out of my house. She didn't say not one word back to me, but she went inside the home and just sat down. People need to get some common sense. And I think you would get that with the privilege of knowing who God is. And to get through what you were going through. That child didn't say, hey, I want to be conceived by SA. The child showed up by the choices. I'm not going to say the choices the mother made, but by the bad intentions that someone else made. And for that person, I really want to say, I hope that person rot in hell. But did you know that RAPE is the only thing besides unaliving someone that you can get the death penalty for? Research my research. Let me know what you come up with. I don't know how I got off that, but guess what? If I would have gotten over the way that I lost my job with my previous employer, I wanted to get over it and forget the whole thing and say, okay, they decided to do this, which is unlawful, but okay, I'm over. And I literally said, okay, I'm not going to fight this. I don't want to be where I'm not wanted. And my thought at the time was like, okay, I'm just going to get over it. Until someone called me and said, hey, what if it was one of your 3 kings who went through this? What would you tell them to do? And when they asked me that question, I said, no, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to get through this. I'm not going to get over it and give up. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to fight this. And I'm so glad I made that choice and decision, because now I have a better outcome by going through it than by giving up. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to get closure. I've already closed that chapter once the determination was made to terminate me. That was all the closure I need. I have no reason to contact anybody over there with my former employer. I have a wonderful attorney. They can do all of the whatever they need. I don't need no closure. Just like with relationships with jobs. Well, why did this happen? I need to know why you're making a decision. No, I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine who once got terminated. After they terminated her, she walked up without saying a word and left. Because after she was terminated, she was like, there's nothing else to be said. And they were shocked at the way my friend left, that they literally came running after her. And when my friend told me this story, I was like, well, they must have ran after you because they knew you were valuable and had great potential. Because I can just imagine if I were to happen to be put in a position to fire someone, which I hope I would never have to do. I know someone who takes pleasure in firing people. I don't. People need resources. Give you verbal commands, verbal warnings, written warnings, do everything I can do. But unless you're about to endanger yourself or anyone else, something like that, termination might come up in my brain cells. But I love the way she accepted her termination. She didn't say not one word. She got up, took her termination papers and her, they gave her an allotment or something like that, and left. But the fact, when she told me they came running after her to say, you don't have anything to say, it's like they wanted her to fight for her job back. Like there was possibility and hope there to see what she was going to do if they tell her it's going to terminate her. She didn't need no closure. She was like, okay, moved on and she has a wonderful job now, great job. So you can look at your termination as something bad or something good. Because if you're terminated from a job or a career, that means there has to be something out there better for me. I have no doubt in my mind Because all God wants from me is good. Y'all see this beautiful weather? I love the rain. Some people don't say it's beautiful weather. I like all weather. I don't know why people complain about the weather. You learn about all 4 seasons when you're in school, so you know it's coming. But God bless you. But guess what? Peter had the passion and the promise to know he would be protected through it all. Peter had the passion and the promise to know he would be protected through it all. Peter had the passion and the promise to know he would be protected while he was getting through it all. So, okay, you can lock my body up in prison. You can't lock my mind up, my soul up, my spirit up, my salvation up. You can't lock up nobody's salvation, just like you can't crucify the blood. What were these people thinking? I said, scratch my head. I'm like, these people think I'm crazy. And then I'm reading the Bible thinking they crazy. I'm like, what were y'all thinking? I'm like, after everything else y'all tried to do to stop Jesus Christ, you think putting him on the cross was going to stop him? Think. Y'all just wasted all this wood and all this time, all these people time to put him on something that he was going to reverse and come back later to show y'all, hey, thank you very much, but I've gotten through this cross situation. I've rolled the stone away. I've rolled sickness away. I've rolled stupidity away. I have rolled starvation away. I have rolled sin away. I've rolled all of that away when I rolled that stone away that y'all call yourself closing me up in. Thank you very much. I've gotten through all of that. Now y'all leave me alone. You think they would leave me alone? These crazy folks. God, pray for the people in the Bibles. They don't know what they're doing. Now, you can ask God to take you out of what you're going through, or you can ask God to help you walk through what you're going through. There are footprints in the sand. It's more than your footprints. It's God with you, walking you through what you're going through. Now, imagine if God take you out of what you're going through. If he take you out of your going through while you're going through it, you will go through it again because you have not learned how to get through the going through. Okay? So it would be my suggestion to you, but this is just my suggestion. I'm not a preacher or anything like that. I'm just a helper outer. But if it were I, as hard, as difficult as it may be, as it is, especially what I'm going through right now, as hard, as difficult as this is, I try my best not to complain about anything that I'm going through. I'm sorry for the yawn. I'm a human being. Most human beings yawn. So, I try my best not to complain because I realize something. I realize if I complain, I'll remain. I do not want to remain in what I am complaining about or what I have a complaint about. So I have chosen and made the decision to say, hey, God, God, I need you to walk me through what I'm going through. And guess what? God is walking me through what I'm going through gracefully. Guess what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a beautiful picture of me gracefully going through what I'm going through. I'm going to create a beautiful picture of me gracefully growing through what I am going to get through. I'm not talking about crayons and pencils and paint and a board or a piece of paper to paint on. Me, myself, is going to be the canvas. My heart, my soul, my mind, my spirit, my salvation. When you see me, you're going to see a beautiful picture of what God has brought me out of. Just by me accepting to go through and to grow through what I'm going through. I'm over 30 minutes. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your participation. I hope you got something out of this. Don't get over it. Get through it. Hope what I said made sense. I don't even know if what I said made sense to me. But I know what my brain was thinking. But Hope you got something out of it, whether you agree or disagree with it. Hopefully I gave you something to agree, disagree with, research it, or do something. Pass it along, share it if you feel like it's worth sharing. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. And I love you. And I wish you well, peace, prosperity in every area of your life. I am healthy, wealthy, and whole. And because I am healthy, wealthy, and whole, you are healthy, wealthy, and whole. Okay? There's nothing I can do to make God love me more than he already does. Okay? Thank you for your participation. May my whole life prove that God is good.